Well, okay, so I fixed my microphone. The last video that I did was abysmal. The sound was absolutely atrocious. And it turned out that my microphone was unplugged, and I was embarrassed. So I deleted it. It was like 45 minutes of me streaming, talking about Worldographer and stuff, a bunch of stuff. And yeah, that's too bad it's gone, but whatever. So, speaking of Worldographer, we'll open up the map. Today's save. Today is the 24th. And here we go. Let's resize these sidebars. Good. So what was I doing? That's the question. I was talking about naming. I was talking about how I name towns and stuff like that. So the first thing I do, we'll take Takistas here. The first thing I do is I pick a real world language that I'm gonna use as inspiration for my fake culture, my in-game culture. So I'm gonna bring a new window open here, bring it across. So in this case, we'll jump into Google Translate. For Takistas, I was using Estonian. Well, Estonian. So actually, let's do this. There you go. So the name itself means something. Obviously not the first translation, but that's okay. So then, so this is my mountain dwarf kingdom, for lack of a better term. They're on the northern section of the map, and I have this envision that they're very militaristic. I do have some notes about the kingdom here in my OneNote journal. Where is this? There it is. So they are actually, it's here under, where is it? Politics. There. So Takistas is a monarchy military government. This is actually wrong. That's okay. So, so they're militaristic. So I have them envisioned as being very rigid and very formalized and a very sort of lawful society. And so when I was naming and structuring their towns, or mostly military stuff, I did it all based on that sort of motif. I don't know if that's the right word for that, but whatever. So they have two cities, and they basically all of the dwarves that live in this kingdom live in these two cities. There aren't any towns. There's the two major cities. They're both mines. They're both underground cities that delve deep. They have people living in the mines, but they all would count as the city. And then they have a bunch of military fortifications around on the surface because they're prone or exposed to attacks on that level. So, so the city, the capital city, is Esmakeyvand, and then the other city is I don't actually know how to say this, but I haven't decided yet. But it'd be maybe Tyne or Tyne Keyvand. So it basically means first mine and second mine. That's simple. And then the fortifications around the cities. All right, I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see a little better, because it's a little hard to read sometimes the way that they do, the way Worldographer does its text. But yeah, so there's Esmakeyvand. So Esmapo, Esmaleas, or yeah, and Esmaid. Po is a shortened version of the word north. Laos is for west, and id is for east. So that's it. That's just, they're all linked to this city, and then they have a trading town out by their border. So Ida or Ida means east, and Kalban means, I believe it just means trade. Have a quick look here. Cowban or Cowban commercial. There you go. Commerce. So you have this kind of play of cities, and then I just realized I should drop like a drop shadow on this guy here. I don't know if I can do that. Anyway, and then these roads, instead of being normal roads, the gray with the dark outline, this represents like an underground road system. So I have this idea that these dwarves, they mine all the time, and they've also mined out their highways to allow transport to their places. Keskis Torn literally means center tower. This is halfway between Tiny Cavand and Esma Cavand, and then you've got the west, the east, and the south towers named appropriately, and then West Commerce is the name of this town. Again, it's on their border. So that is how I named this, and it fits, for me anyway, it fits this culture that I'm sort of building for these guys. What else do we need to know about them? So the populations of their cities, sit an average of around 10,000, 12 and 8. You've got their towns. The east town is slightly larger. It's been more established longer. And it's with a more established country. So that, let's go zoom out again here. That's established with Edenvale, which Edenvale is a larger, more established country than Arud. Smaller, very prosperous, but newer. So this town hasn't developed as strongly. And yep. And I just have a couple quick notes about them. The idea that they live underground, trade centers, military centers, they're battle focused, and they're clan centric. So that's the cultural overview and the naming overview of this country. That seems to kind of be the way I do it for most things. We look at Silvascus. Now it's different. They have, of the 52,000 elves, they're spread out over this whole large area. There's only 26,000 dwarves that live up here, and another 26,000 dwarves that live down here, and then we got 52,000 elves, and they have got one small city, another religious city, a town, and a town here, a couple military installations here and here, and everything else that they have is just evenly sort of distributed through the woods. Lots of small villages, homesteads, like just individual, small groupings of people. So if you travel through these woods, you'd just be running into elves constantly, but not large groups of them, unless they were from one of the military institutions, because they have a defensive army that sort of roams through and tracks and hunts orcs and stuff like that. So it's a different feel. The language I used to name all of this stuff was Latin, and their populations actually around the same size as what the dwarves have, but then they have this huge population of just villages distributed. I wouldn't dream to populate those 30 villages, not anytime soon. That's going to come as I need things in the game. And then just some notes about sort of their culture, and I have a couple ideas for the roving band of hunters that take down incursions and stuff like that in their lands. Just sort of a bunch of names that may fit into that. Yeah, so it's the same thing though. I used Latin. I use Latin as the base, so Mercor means merchants. Colas Arx is literally a hill fort. Samara is a combination of summit and spirit. Inspira means inspiration, which is the god that they worship, is V. And V, if we look at the pantheon, he is known as the inspiration. That's literally his name. So Inspira is like a shout out to that. Salem, this town here, means sky, which I was a little bit hesitant on, but the house that controls in Dovrich, the house that controls Vaunt, is basically named after the elemental or the element of air, so it seemed kind of appropriate. And then Turris Lux means turret of light, or something to that effect. So you have sort of this centralized defensive structure in the south, another one in the north, and then in the middle you've got sort of your two main cities, and then a couple trading villages. So they're two very different cultures. They're both pretty sparsely populated. There's not that much content there compared to Edenvale, which I've got towns and cities and stuff all over the place, roads, and compared to Dovrich, which is the same. There's just towns and cities all over the place. Feels like it anyway. Yeah, so that's just a little bit of insight into how I do some of what I do for structure, for naming and for sort of logic behind the culture of what's going on. I said I wanted to change something, so I'm going to switch the tone a little bit here. I'm going to zoom in something. We're going to grab this, and we're going to see what we can do. I don't care about that. Override color, kind of like it red. I just want like a black outline around it. Fill hex bottom, not really what I want because it blocks the word. Add a ring. Kind of permanently adds the ring, which not really what I wanted either. So let's do this. We're going to grab a settlement. What? Why does that look fatter text than what I'm used to? I don't understand that, actually. Do not understand that. Why did that text go big? Not going to change anything. Try city. No, it's just thick like that. Okay. Well, that's weird. Unexpected. I don't really know what to do about it. Anyway, what I was going to do though is I was going to grab a normal city. Oh, they're not the same. Refresh and see what happens. Nothing. Well, we're just going to delete it. Grab this one and move it. Oh, and all the text just resized itself. Okay. Well, that was weird, but all right. So what I was thinking, and I still may be able to do this, is if I grab this image, but I change this to like 80%. And we change this to black. We drop it here. And we move it in behind. That. Except that it's too small. Oops. All right, at 90%. Doesn't really look good. Nope, I don't like that at all. So we'll move you to the back. And bring you from the front. I was thinking I could do like a little outline thing, but I don't like it. Yeah, I wish there was a good way to. I can't see this red on green very well. I'm sure some people are like, "What are you talking about?" But I just have a hard time with it. But it's okay. It's fine. It didn't do what I wanted it to do. What else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? Not a lot. I was thinking about Corico a little bit. It's probably going to be kind of like the idea of there being areas of wilderness. So Corico is going to be one of the ones that's not really very settled, and Aprathis is also going to be not very settled. So Aprathis is spoken for. It's not settled. Aprathis is the rangelands of the Centaur. So they, travel around, following the herds or whatever, and living in like a nomadic lifestyle. And then I have this idea that there would be an infestation of gnomes also there, and they would be kind of at war, right? Did I say gnomes? I think I said gnomes, but I meant gnolls. The Centaur are not going to be fighting the gnomes, as hilarious as that might be. No, they'll be fighting gnolls. It seems like a good fit. I was, reading a little bit about the sort of standard gnollish behavior, and they do tend to raid in from the hills and then, or whatever, they raid and then they go away and they're nomadic and they don't set up shelters or anything like that. So it seems appropriate. And I might even have it so that the gnolls live in these hills through here, and that the Centaur stay out of the hills. They stay mostly down to the plains, and then actually I like that idea. I should take a note of that. Gnolls in the hills. Yeah. So that's that. What else would you care about on what I'm doing here? Probably not that much. So then I should have something I want to do. I don't really know what that would be. Put more lakes in would be a good idea. But that requires a little bit of research. I don't really know where I want the lakes to be. I don't have that many lakes. What else can I work on? I feel like this is kind of done at this level until there's more game played and I think of more things that need to go in. But yeah, I just feel like this is where we're at. So yeah, I don't know what else I'll do. Maybe I'll just hang out in case somebody decides to log in, but I highly doubt anyone's going to log in and say hi. Knolls in the hills. I like that. I like that idea. And that happens. You know something I did want to do? This is incredibly exciting for everybody else. I wanted to see how many hexes followed the river, so I'd know how much land the halflings had if they just camped all along the river. 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 30. 2, 4, 6, 8, 40. 2, 4, 6, 8, 52. So, or, yeah, 52 hexes. Which means I could have 1,000 halflings living in each 6-mile hex, which is fine. That's like a village. It's tempting to put maybe a halfling town somewhere. To offset some of the smaller villages. And that would be perfect, actually. Where would I want to put a halfling town? Maybe here? Across from the Doverage capital is a possibility. I could see there being one up here. I don't want to push these hills back a little bit. Maybe not. Yeah, I could see the river flows this way. I could see doing one right here across from Ashland Fay. Let's throw a town in there. We're going to get rid of you. That's fine. This is Prathus is the tag, and the label is going to be town because I don't have it yet. And that'll be it. We'll just throw it here for now. And then let's think. I kind of would rather have one here. I don't think that they want to go to the big city. Uskat's actually a pretty big city anyway. So is Ashland Fay for that matter. Yeah, just on either side of the savannah. And then I almost like it better if they're out a little bit. Across from Adipose feels better. And maybe up by Alma's Run. No, I like them being closer to the elves here. So yeah. We'll have this guy here, and then maybe up here between these two towns. I don't know why I want 3 towns, but sure, we'll do that. Now, here's the question. What language do the halflings get inspired by from Maori? Do this. I'm gonna grab Maori. Lake Town, Roto. Very, very big possibility. Oh, and it sounds like my wife is home, so I'm gonna stop the stream, and I don't know. I guess next time I'll let you know what I decided to do. Okay, thanks for watching, and let's all make the game a better place.